Okay, Autumn Leaves, a tune by Johnny Mercer, has an 8-measure or two 8-measure progressions, the A section and the B section. What we're going to do today is look at the 2-5-1s to help memorize the structure of the tune. And if you know the lyrics, it's kind of a somber tune, and we're going to look at the 2-5s in terms of major and minor keys. So the first 2-5 is going to go to a G, which we might think of as a happy key. And because we're doing bass, I'm not even going to put all the 7s in there. I'll just put a G for a major chord, and in this case an E minor for a minor chord. So the tune starts off sort of happy, but it ends off sort of sad. That's the main thing to remember about the A section, because this is going to do a 2-5 into 1, into the target is G. Then it's going to do a 2-5 into E minor, which is the relative 1. And then this whole section repeats. The only thing we have to keep in mind is that this little measure here is the 4 chord. So it'll go 2-5-1 to G. Then the 4 chord is a transition to the minor section, 2-5-1, and that stays on the E minor. Then it'll go back to the 2 of G. Don't worry about what the letters are for now. 2-5-1. Goes to the 4 chord that brings you back to 2-5-1 in E minor. And let's stop right there. Okay, we didn't stop. You're at home. What I want you to do is play that progression, or at least go through your head and fill in the blanks of what those other chords are. I'm going to hold this right here. See if you can figure out what's the 2 of G chord. Say it out loud. What's the 5 of the G chord? Say it out loud. Obviously that's G. What's the 4 of G chord? Good. Now do the same thing down here. The 5 of E minor. And obviously this is E minor again. So on a piece of paper at home, hopefully you have a piece of paper out, I want you to write down those 8 chords. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Great, welcome back. Okay, hopefully you have all the chords filled in for the A section. I'll give them to you right now. That's A minor, D7, C major 7. Line got messed up. Then you've got F sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is the 2 of the 5 chord, B7, and obviously E minor again. Sorry, my inconsistencies on the levels. Now we got the B section, which doesn't have any repeats. The main thing to remember is, like we had, it started with the happy chord and ended sad, because it's all about autumn. The year starts happy and ends up miserable. So the B section starts miserable here with your sad E minor chord. It gets happy a little bit, but then the next 2 targets are both the sad, the relative minor, E minor. So by really just thinking about it in terms of, it's going to do the happy chord, sad chord, happy chord, sad chord. Then reverses, sad chord, happy chord, and then tricks you and breaks the pattern and just says two sad chords in a row. So by really just thinking about that, happy chord, sad chord, happy chord, sad chord, then reverse, sad chord, happy chord, then it's a trick reverse because these are all sad in a row, sad chord, and you start again to get the happy chord. And these are, again, straightforward. This is just a 2-5-1 into E minor, and it stays on E minor. Then a 2-5-1 to G, and it stays on G. Then a 2-5-1 to E minor, but this time we have a long descent pattern. This is sort of the big variation in the chord. We have every other beat, we have this descending pattern, which puts the 5 chord here, and going chromatically, It's the 1, the 7, the flat 7, the 6, flat 6, 5, E minor. And again, that chord repeats. So the first line, the second line, and most of the fourth line are pretty much easy. It's this middle part here where it's going to go 2, 5, 1, and then descending. So take a second and pause it again if you want, and fill in on your chart all these chords as well as you can, and then I'll fill them in with you. Great, welcome back. Hopefully you had F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Whoops. B7, E minor, A minor 7, D7, G major 7. Again, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor, D flat 7, E flat minor 7. I said that wrong, excuse me. E flat minor 7, D minor 7, D flat 7, C major 7. Let me make sure I wrote those right. E flat, so E minor to E flat 7. And notice they go minor to dominant 7, minor 7 to dominant 7, major 7. So E minor, E flat 7, D minor, D flat 7, C major, B7, E minor, and that brings you back up to the top. So one way to do this is, when you're practicing at home, is just start with a scratch piece of paper and make all your little lines here, line 1, line 2, line 1, 2, 3, 4 for the B section, and just fill in what your targets are going to be. And I draw my little hash marks here, which I'm doing a miserable job at. This is the third line. Okay. Bear with me here as you make your own cheat sheet. We know that it starts off happy, then it gets sad, then it gets sad before it gets happy again, and sad, and sad. We know we have a C chord here. We know we have a long run here. E minor, E flat 7, D minor, D flat 7, C major 7, B7, E minor. The rest of the chords are just fill in the blanks. This is 2 5 2 5 2 5, and I'm not putting all the chords here because for bass we don't necessarily need them. Please repeat. Looks like a drunk person made this. So we want to have this, be able to do this in our head so that when we're playing, we can see where all those chords are. Hopefully that makes sense, and have a great day.